I've made over 1,700 videos here on this channel, over 150 paintings, I think, in recent years. And I was never a very organized person. Actually, I was just the opposite of that. And I was never really able to sit down and study a boring subject. I would rather just distract myself. And that's how I was functioning. And I thought that that's who I am. I thought that I'm just working like that. But then later in life, I recognized that actually I love being devoted to things that are interesting to me. And so many of you may maybe resonate with this, because I found out so many creative people are like that. Like, their lives are maybe completely unorganized, but they've produced so much of artwork, so much of music, so much of paintings, or so much of certain written subjects that could form a book or something like that. And if we can actually implement this productivity in other areas of our lives, we can actually build a very healthy life, right? But most people don't actually build anything with it. And that's why I want to give you this message today, because, well, if there was one thing that helped me the most, was knowing that you don't need 10 or 15 or 20 goals for your life. You need one goal. You need one very specific goal. And by following that one goal, everything else will kinda unfold. And that's something I want to explain to you firstly. So when you find something that's very interesting to you, like I found art back at 2018, I've been through a certain process of kinda awakening and realizing what I truly want to do with my life. And I said, okay, we'll start painting. And then my goal was to become really good at making art, at painting. And by following this goal, YouTube found me. I said, oh, there's another way to express myself and to share my art with the world. So I've started making YouTube videos. And still by following this goal, becoming a good artist, I was continually doing also YouTube videos. So I haven't just become good at painting, I also became much better at making videos. And obviously the channel started growing and things started happening, and it brought so much of other things to this main goal that started to kind of compoundingly happening in my life. Like, I've started making more money, I've started meeting more interesting people, and I've started feeling like something is really happening here due to one specific goal. So that's why I think you don't need to have like hundreds of goals for yourself. Like, I will make this amount of money and I will meet this kind of person, I will do this and that and that. But have firstly one goal for what is the most interesting to you. Because once you follow something that's very interesting to you, I think life will just take you onto a path where so many other things will unfold as well. And you will start thinking about finances, you will start thinking about people, you will start thinking about where to expose yourself and what is holding you back emotionally, and maybe what to heal emotionally, and how to change your mindset and all of that. But it will almost happen by itself just because you're following this one specific goal. And then there's the second thing I want to share with you, which is redefining pleasures. If you want to get things done, redefine pleasures, because usually we use pleasures to escape from pain, to escape from what's unpleasant, like work many times, right? Doing sometimes is unpleasant, so we escape to pleasures. But what if we look at pleasures as, from a different perspective? What if growth brings more pleasure than actually avoiding growth? What if succeeding at what you've started brings more pleasure than postponing it and running away to, sugar or whatever you're doing? When you recognize that growth and succeeding at whatever you've started, seeing progress, seeing breakthroughs, bring more long-term pleasures to you, you will notice that the small tiny pleasures that are taking you away from where you want to go, that's what the word distraction actually means, to be pulled away from where you're intending to go, you will notice that these postponed pleasures are so much more beneficial, and they're so much more pleasant, and they're so much more fulfilling than these quick pleasures. That's why they say, postponed gratification over instant gratification. Because, well, nothing is pleasant at the beginning, but life becomes quite joyful when we become good at something. And when we become good at something, we also start making some results with it. And when we start making some results with it, we also start enjoying at looking and seeing that something is actually moving forward. And when we get into this kind of momentum, more things start moving forward, and suddenly we notice that actually our life is evolving into a wanting direction, which doesn't mean that we will end up where we've intended to end up. We'll most probably end up somewhere else, and we'll reach something even greater, and so much of new interesting things will happen to us. But the point is that you keep moving forward towards this goal, and you stay open for what may find you on this path that can take you even further into this direction. You also need to learn to say no to things that are not in alignment with it. Like sometimes, people come to you and invite you to a party, and you say no. And sometimes people come to you and say, hey, I have an incredible investment opportunity. And you say no, because it's not in alignment with that goal. And it's kind of integrity that we build towards this path we're walking. So redefine your pleasures, because you will find out eventually that what you feel when you succeed, or what you feel when you see progress, or what you feel when you experience growth is so much more pleasurable than what you feel when you escape it, when you distract yourself from it. And when you notice that the progress is actually happening, you truly start believing into yourself, because you will notice, well, if this was possible, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not so disciplined, and I'm not so well organized, but I've still been able to see progress here, well, what else is possible for me, right? So this is very powerful. And then the third thing is learn by doing. Learn by doing. It will look something like that, and I don't know if you can see it, but when I've started painting, I've started already making videos of my art, and the first paintings were quite, maybe not so good, if I say it this way. So I've started the way that I've just started painting, and I was treating my art like it's already good. I was sharing it with the community on my YouTube, on my Instagram. I've put it on some platforms where I've actually sold my first paintings for a little money. But, I was learning by doing. And I was never doing certain trainings how to make YouTube videos or certain English courses. I could do something like that, but I didn't. I said I will learn by doing. And I think it's a great cure for perfectionism, because sometimes we think we really need to make everything so perfect so then we can put it out. But it comes out of lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, and fear is taking over, saying to you that you're not good enough. Well, the truth is you will never be good enough if you believe it. Even if you don't believe it, you will still not be good enough. Even if you try, put something out, don't receive results, you will still not feel good enough. And even when you reach results, you will still not feel good enough. So it doesn't matter if you start or if you don't start, you will never feel good enough. Because, it's an internal state, so you can decide right now that you're enough or you don't. It's same with work. You can start doing or don't. But if you start doing and decide, well, through work, you will learn. Through doing, you will become better, then nothing is truly holding you back anymore. And you can just, every single day take time, do this thing, make this painting, make that video, make this whatever you're working on, go into that meeting, if you are looking for a new job, call more people, talk with more people, expose yourself, and just learn by doing. It's as simple as that. And when you start doing it more frequently, you will notice that actually you are becoming more confident at whatever you've started. This is the greatest secret to get things done, right? Get things done. So have the most important thing you're working on every single day. Redefine your pleasures, my friend. Redefine them. Know that pleasure from growth is more pleasurable, more beautiful, more rewarding than pleasure from escaping, from distracting yourself. Right? Much more powerful. And then learn by doing. Learn by doing. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to figure everything out. Just start. Just start. And then there's a painful truth to all of this. You can't bypass the process that is teaching you what you need to know. You can't bypass that. There's no shortcuts to that goal that you want to reach. And this is painful. Because, we are living in a world where there's so much of information and so much content and everything out, and so many people are sharing different ideas, including myself. And we can easily lose ourselves in thinking, someone else has figured it out and I haven't, so that person is smarter than me, and you start listening to that person, and then just when you think that person has figured things out, you find another one who has figured something else out, and then you think, that person has figured things out, and you find another one, and suddenly you find yourself jumping from one person to another, from one book to another, from one thing to another, from one knowledge to another, but nothing is done, right? Well, the thing is, all of this can be useful, but if you don't apply it in your life and stay consistent with one system that works for you, nothing will happen. So most people really live their lives in this cognitive dissonance where they are constantly saying, I will do this and I will do that and I will do that, but they're not doing anything because they're just mentally thinking about doing something. The painful truth here is that you can't skip the process of doing, of learning your own lessons, of going through your own pain and shadow, and eventually reaching results. It doesn't truly matter where you are at this point of your life. If you take care of these 3 steps, and know this 4th painful truth, that you can't bypass the phase you're in right now. However you will be visualizing it, however you will try to manifest something, as long as you want it or need it, you're pushing it away. The point is that you keep working on it, because doing is actually building you, right? Doing is building the character. It's not how fast you reach it. It's about how much you grow on this path, because the growth builds you and the growth makes you valuable. It's who you become in this process that makes you someone who can be valuable for someone else who's somewhere lost. That's why you shouldn't be scared and worried when you're not reaching your goals, even though you're working hard on it. And someone will come to you and say, hey, I figured this formula, try it out. Ancient alchemists looked at life very differently. And I love this perspective, because they looked at life like they've been observing their lives very precisely, like what's happening to them. And then they've looked at everything like it was meant to happen this way because it needed to teach me something I needed to know. And then they went into a deep reflection of what part of them is still maybe holding them back, what emotion is holding them back, what fear is holding them back. So they are not doing what they know they should do according to their life situation. So for example, you want to make more money and you've started already a business and business is not going well. If you would go to these ancient wise people and ask them for advice, they would say to you, okay, let's look at your life situation. And let's see firstly how you think about what's happening right now. How are you defining the situation? And it would take you deep into a reflection like, okay, I think I'm not so smart, or I think I'm lazy, or I think I should do so much more, or I'm not doing enough, or I'm not feeling like I'm good enough. Okay, those are all limiting beliefs. Okay, we can work on it. What else? What else is holding you back? Well, interesting opportunities opened up for me, but I was afraid to grab them because I thought that if I grab them, I will succeed and then people will judge me for success, or I will make a lot of money and I will be scared how to handle it. And we find some new fears. Or maybe you might notice that you're actually afraid of doing more, of becoming more busy, because then you think you would not have enough time for your family or things like that. And you notice that it's really not the physical world that's the problem. It's usually the mental and emotional world. And that is another painful truth, where we recognize that the reflection of our present situation and how we are defining it mentally and emotionally is more important than how the situation actually is. And once we figure this out, we recognize that as much as we find problems within us, we can also find solutions. And solutions are on the other side of limiting beliefs. Who you truly want to be and how you truly want to make your life. Because it's never the truth that if you succeed at this, you will not have enough time for that. It's just prioritization. If you prioritize time with your family, you will make it happen. If you don't, well, there will never be enough time for it. It's all about management. And we need to learn to manage ourselves at the first place. Then we need to learn to manage our beliefs and emotions. And then we learn to manage our time. And then we learn to manage our action and our habits. And suddenly we become quite good at self-management. And suddenly we start seeing so much of results of our inner work. So I hope this can make sense, my friends. I will leave you here. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Till next time, thanks to everyone for choosing to support my art. I truly appreciate that. You can find my art on AttractPassion.com. You can find prints of my art, some of new products. Go and check them out. They are quite interesting, beautiful. And also thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. Till next time, once again, one love.